Hello everybody. Look, don't mind me doing it like this. I mean the filming. I just wanted to sit and have a little bit of a foot bath and relax, but I did want to bring something to your attention. Now it might be something that you could have brought to my attention already, or and what I mean by that is, hey, perhaps you're already aware of this, but just going to let you know about something in case you're not aware. It's a future prediction, isn't it, for what is going to be just another rinse and repeat of what happened with the innocence fraud movement to do with Karen Reid and her trials. Okay, it's got all the same elements, all of the same elements in place. It's going to have all of the same smoke and mirror tricks. It's going to use rhetoric as evidence, search engine optimization. It's going to use AI. It's going to use talking heads. It's going to use talking points. It's going to be very manipulative, and it's going to be very divisive, and it's going to be a big hoo-ha, and every man and there's going to be buzzwords, don't we just love that term, buzzwords. Scapegoat. Scapegoat's going to be a really big one. And terms such as, he's just a young kid, the very dangerous Pacific Coast Highway. When I say Pacific Coast Highway, some of you might know the case that I'm talking about. Well, what's happened? Alan Jackson has gone on to take on the case of Fraser Michael Bomb. So he was in court on the 1st of July asking for a continuance because he is the new attorney on the case. Fraser Michael Bomb, he is a 22-year-old. He was a 22-year-old man at the time, October 17th, 2023. He was driving the high-performance vehicle that every 22-year-old immature person needs, right? Before they're really grown up and mature enough to handle a high-performance vehicle. Let's gift them one for their 18th birthday. So Mother Bomb was renting this out for him since his 18th birthday, and I have no doubt we will hear a great deal about how this kid's got a blemish-free record, absolutely speeding ticket free, absolutely free of any misdemeanor. Well, he hasn't really had a long driving history, has he? In 4 years. I mean, I guess that's pretty good. Perhaps it'll come to light that he's actually gotten off quite a bit, though. That's a prediction from Humanimal. So yeah, this kid, he's apparently driving back to his university campus or whatever in Malibu along the Pacific Coast Highway around 8 o'clock at night, and he's going 104 miles per hour at Dead Man's Corner, what's known as Dead Man's Corner in the city of Malibu, and he loses control, he ricochets off several cars and into a group of 4 college students. These 4 women were all killed. Niamh Rolston, Paynton Stewart, Asha Weir, Deslyn Williams. And they were just out relaxing, a group of girls enjoying, their day, their night. And along comes Fraser Michael Bomb and wipes them out in the blink of an eye. He tries to run from law enforcement. He's chased down by some frat guys and he's tackled. But of course the spinners that he was cooperating with police. Yes, he was cooperating with police after he was captured by the frat guys. His bail was initially set at 8 million, or I don't know how you'd say it. The judge was maybe asking for 8 million, but it was reduced down to 4 million, and he's gotten out on bail. His mum and dad, they are divorced. His father is Chris Bohm, and it's Bohm as in the physicist, B-O-H-M. His father is in pharmaceuticals. He's C-level or VP, and he's divorced from the mum. The mother has sold the house they were living in at the time, so she wanted 8 million. She's gotten 3 point something million. His bail has been paid, so he's just out living his life. He had a lawyer at first. Was it Michael Cront? Yeah, guys, sorry, I'll get up to speed on this properly, but you know, it's kind of like, you know how your Nettie at first was all like, oh, it was an accident, Karen didn't mean to hurt him, and then Alan Jackson swooped in and gone, da-da-da, hold my tiny penis, because he's doing the same here. This first lawyer was, you know, putting it out that, hey, you know, this kid, you know, just a good kid, doing no wrong, he's out getting his friends some tacos. I mean, what a great guy. I mean, give him the Nobel Peace Prize, buying some tacos and taking them back to campus. And there was a guy being mean to him at the lights. I mean, sure, you know, Fraser was on his phone. They'll say legally on his phone because he was stopped. I mean, what's the bet? He was speeding and on his phone when he's crashed the car. But anywho, oh no, someone was being mean to him, you know, saying bad words and maybe making gestures to him in the car beside him or something. I mean, no mention of who this car is. Were they chased down? Did the police follow up? Did Fraser Michael Bomb make any sort of suggestion about that at the time? I mean, look, who knows? Doesn't seem so, but hey, we're yet to get discovery, or I'm yet to see it. And he was just trying to get away. He didn't speed at first, but this person just wouldn't leave him alone. And yep, and that's why he was going. Now he wasn't really speeding that much. It was you know, this guy, the police are saying he was going 104 miles per hour in a residential 40 mile per hour zone. Okay, first lawyer was trying to say, hey, it was something like 70. Even so, that's nearly twice the legal limit. You know, 104 miles an hour is 160k an hour, right? It's fast. And, you know, and he's not just on a broad sweep of highway with nothing around. He's come down into an area where there's nightlife and people's homes and people, you know, pedestrians, okay? So what are you going to believe? Did he, while he's, instead of texting on his phone, what was he doing? Texting his mates? Maybe he could have called police for help, phoned 911. Driven to the nearest police station. Isn't that what you're supposed to do with a situation like that? But no, he goes 104 miles an hour and murders, allegedly, 4 young women. So we know this is going to be an exact, you know, it's paint by numbers. There's this formula, okay? So formula is to say that your person is the scapegoat, to cast blame everywhere else, to blur the boundaries, to spew rhetoric, to manipulate social media, to manipulate the algorithm. You know, so before you know it, this guy is going to be, he's the one that's being made an example out of. You know, it could have been for years. The city of Malibu could have spent a few cents to make this safer. They could have put up cameras, and they're just choosing this, you know, this little young guy because he's just so indefense, you know, so vulnerable. This is who they've chosen to make a statement about, you know, to make an example of this young kid, just to show, you know, to show the voters, to show the people that are paying their rates there in Malibu that they can do something about, you know, about this dangerous piece of road. You know, it's not the dangerous piece of road, it's the reckless driving. It's the reckless driving. It's a, you know, what do they say, young, dumb and full of cum. These young people that take too many risks. It doesn't matter if he wasn't smoking weed, drinking alcohol, taking pills, whatever. He has been driving recklessly, even if it was 60 miles per hour. He is culpable. He is somehow culpable, you know. And there is a lot to be said for not being immoral and not being unethical, and for having some integrity and saying, yeah, I did this, I'm going to make something out of this, I'm going to admit it, I'm going to show some goddamn remorse for these girls and to their families. This is the thing, isn't it? There is zero remorse from these entitled people that fight the wrong battle. They fight for total innocence, and they don't care who is collateral damage. They will say and do absolutely anything. Okay? So, you know, you're going to be hearing all about something that was, you know, oh, it was just a tragic accident, wasn't it? You know, this really dangerous piece of the Pacific Coast Highway. I think I've seen them call it the PCH. You know, this chap's a scapegoat. He's just a young kid. He's got no record. He's, you know, very cooperative. Yeah, they're going to lie. I mean, these poor victims, these people who were murdered, they're probably going to be blamed, aren't they? Were they looking out? Were they paying attention? Were these girls taking photos of each other or on the phone? You know, the road rager, this, you know, mysterious road rager is going to get the blame. The road itself's going to get the blame. Even probably if only those 4 cars hadn't been parked there, he wouldn't have ricocheted off them into these women. You know, everything but little Mr. Fraser Michael Bomb is going to be responsible. Every man, his dog, every aspect of the city of Malibu, the people of Malibu, all except the person who was deciding to go 160 kilometers an hour, faster than that, in a residential zone. It is irresponsible. There is no excuse. We see a lot, these high-powered lawyers coming in to save, because it's seen as a slight against a certain slice of society, you know, the elites, that you don't let anybody, and this is how they look at it, you don't let anybody, you don't let those 4 girls ruin his life. He's got to go on to live, to enjoy his fortune, his privilege, he should be still in, you know, he's got to be in college meeting people that are going to make a difference to how he's going to be special throughout his life, to all the things that he's going to get to experience. I mean, all their experiences is the void, and their families have had to put them into cold, hard ground. This twerp tries to run away, and then he's just sitting absolutely ice cold in, you know, once he's caught. It's absolutely putrid. So things are being put into place, and we've got Turtle Boy, yeah, well, we've got Turtle Girl, you know, so, you know, Rat Girl. So it's a Turtle Boy 2.0, so Adriadna Jacob, Little Miss Jacob, Ari Jacob. So, you know, she's perfectly placed to blow up. Currently she's had a history, and I'll tell you about it. On YouTube currently she's got 10,000 followers. Insta, she's got nearly 41,000 followers. On X, she's got about 43,500 followers. I don't know how many on Facebook, but I'm sure it's prolific, that what she does there. So she's very experienced. She makes sure you know she's a Mexican immigrant who is just quite, you know, she's getting a bit disillusioned with America, but no, she used to be very proud, which is great. That's by the by, but it's just something you see a lot on her pages. Now, she is someone who cut a swathe through, you know, probably getting in on a little bit of the ground floor and being an influencer promoter. So someone who's very involved in launching the careers of influencers. I only know one of them, so that's the only one I'm going to name, and that's Addison Rae, because I think Addison Rae has had quite a lovely turnaround. She's now a musician. So anyway, no, she's got some pop hits, and she pays a lot of homage to Lana Del Rey, and you know, she's very girl focused with her marketing. But anyway, so Addison Rae, she launched her onto social media. She's done a lot of, she calls what she does, you know, it was a cutting edge AI platform. What she does is she helps small and medium businesses dominate social media. You know, she's really down with how to manipulate you, the viewer, and people, anyone that has access to online. If she's got something that she wants you to think or believe, see, get behind, pay money for, hook you onto, have you repeat, she's brilliant at it. Now, she likes to say that she took on the big boys and she won. She didn't let the New York Times bully her. Well, she dropped her defamation case against the New York Times. This woman called Taylor, she says, I think had Taylor Lorenz. She's a tech journalist for the New York Times. And back in 2020, yeah, there was a whole lot of stuff going on. Taylor found out some things about Ari. She alleges are true, so this is all allegedly. She alleges that Ari was releasing nude photos of her influences to industry people. And Ari says back that, you know, she was doxxed and all of this. Taylor says back to that she's got PTSD from everything that's gone on, what Ari has done to her. You know, so it's a bit of a girl fight, really, or, you know, these girls that play hard at their jobs and their careers, they've got a lot at stake because they're extremely ambitious and they want to be on the top. Image is everything. Ari says that, hey, she's not going to come out and ugly cry like Taylor, but Ari, no. Taylor, she definitely doesn't ugly cry. She stays beautiful. And I really don't think Ari does. But that's by the by, isn't it? So it's all in place. Who knows when and how little, you know, little Ari Jacob. Oh, so cute, right? No, she's a piranha. Well, actually, no, she's a school of piranha fish. But everything is in place, all right? Everything is in place. This is probably even going to be louder and more messy. Oh, gosh. If, you know, look out. Look out for the people you know. Watch out for the people that you are around online. If they start parroting these talking points and that sort of thing, look, honestly, you just need to be aware of who you're really dealing with. It's either someone very vulnerable who needs an intervention and just a little bit of education, You know, because maybe they're just ignorant, vulnerable, but if it's anything other than that, then they are insidious, sinister, dangerous, ludicrous, maybe just unintelligent, maybe they just are really there because they like to be close to the ring. It's, you know, I have no respect, no time for anybody that's going to get behind the PR behemoth of Alan Jackson and all the insidious, disgusting shenanigans that are going to go on around this case, purely because it's someone that is entitled and privileged and they have the money to pay for it. They don't have the grace. Now sure, yes, everyone, get a lawyer, get a good defense. You know, if you are remorseful, you've just done something really terrible, do your time, but try and get maybe the best deal for you and come out of it the best you can and live your life after that the best you can. At least you'll have respect. Oh, hey, but don't worry, not to worry, that's not what it's about, is it? Because they don't care about the respect of the common people, of just the garden variety, oxygen thieves out here, right? You know, no, they only care what their society thinks, and their society thinks that, oh, tosh, what bad luck, old chap, you know. So this blame game is going to be disgusting, and you're going to hear all the buzzwords. The search engine optimization is going to be running full throttle with embedded phrases, okay? Embedded phrases and embedded phrases. And yeah, and this is just going to be corruption most foul, and the corruption is Alan Jackson and Little Miss Jacob and the vampires that are going to be very, very sneaky, very underhanded, aggressive though, crafty. A lot of people aren't going to see it coming before it's too late, but hopefully, you know, we've got the framework now. We've basically actually got a playbook. We've got the Alan Jackson playbook. We know how it's going to go down. You know, we just need more people that were actually too intimidated, too frightened to speak up before Karen Reid got away with murder, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes only. Ha ha ha, yeah, pretty sick, I know. Before Karen Reid got away with killing John O'Keefe because she was an angry shrew. I mean, every interview she lies. She lied bold-faced about what went on that last day, that Friday, the 28th of January. And it's there in black and white what was really going on. She's so petty. John O'Keefe just couldn't, you know, placate her. She was needling, poking. He'd think, you know, it'd be calm for a while, and he'd think, oh yeah, they've decided what's going to happen, and you know, whatever, or what maybe they can talk about another time. And she'd come back with something fucking random and pathetic, like, hey, why aren't you accepting my Facebook request? So they've been together for nearly 2 years. She's now, this is what she's worried about on this day, that she's poking him and lying to him and needling him, not letting it go about the children, lying about that as well. What she wanted to do, she was jealous. She wanted to isolate a person who had dependents, whose life is being with 2 children. She wanted to isolate him from the children. She wanted to make him feeling guilty just for having responsibilities. Oh, we need to be around each other, not around the children. When I'm around the children, that's what's bad for our relationship. Ooh, you know. Anyway, so and he comes back to her about the Facebook. Well, you know, you unfriended me over a year ago, so why would I? I don't look at it. You know, because this is patterns of her behaviour. What got her nose out of joint that time when she unfriended John O'Keefe, who was supposedly her boyfriend of, you know, probably 8 or 9 months at the time. You know, she's a narcissist. She has zero remorse. And it is sickening what she said on the courtroom steps, that no one has fought harder for the truth for John than Karen Reid. She's repulsive. Her father is repulsive. And, you know, why is it that this is how defense operates now? You know, what you've got in America there, where you just are entitled, you think, to every scrap of information going into a trial, has made the innocence fraud movement possible. It is giving power to disruptors, to anti-patriots, to anti-government, anti-police, to socialists, Marxists, to weirdos, to pull down the fabric of society. And people don't like Brennan for saying that, but it's the absolute truth. Why are we standing for it? You know, why do people stand for this? It's too late afterwards to come out and, you know, say it. And of course the algorithm is now letting you see all the people that were speaking out. If you hadn't been sort of around them beforehand, you were definitely kept from them, right? But yeah, it's just, you know, I'd say Karen Reid 2.0, but you know, this is something that's been happening everywhere. Innocence fraud being pushed by in all sorts of people, all sorts of places. I've mentioned, you know, that Richard Allen is Innocence of Indiana, you know, because he was tortured in prison to confess. Well, he still went to court and was found guilty. People don't like that, but apparently he was tortured. Brian Koberger, oh, he's been MK Ultra'd. That's why he's taking the plea and saying he's guilty. And Karen Reid, well, she's a scapegoat. She is a victim of corrupt Massachusetts, right? And no. Karen Reid knows she did it. Her team knows she did it. Her father knows she did it. O'Keefe's family, it doesn't matter what you think of them, they know she did it. And because law enforcement, these people knew she did it, yes, you know, and because they know what hell a law case brings to the people in the periphery, yeah, who can blame them? They wanted to avoid it. They knew what was coming. They knew they were going to be used for reasonable doubt. They knew their lives were going to be turned inside out. And, you know, you don't have to like them. They don't have to be good with everything that they've done in their lives, because it doesn't stop the truth. And the truth is that Karen hit John. And it is very sinister, the channels that, how fake they are, how manipulative, how seductive they are, and how much time and effort is put into the distraction, making people think about 1,000 things than just the bare bone facts. You know, it's distracting from Karen's own words and making you think about, oh, a tree on a corner of a road, and you know, it's just, yeah. Anyway, that was way longer than I thought it would be. I'll see you guys later.